The 104 was introduced, of course, some 4 years ago. Indeed, some 500,000 have been manufactured at Peugeot's Mulhouse plant in Alsace, near the German-Swiss border. To recap, the smallest Peugeot has front-wheel drive and 954cc doing the driving. And so we come to the latest from this line of the French motor industry, 3 new 104 models for Britain. And in what's been generally an economy year for the new car market at home, it's still Peugeot's 5th largest export market. A new sporting coupe and a pair of new 104 saloons. You still have the side doors, all 4 of them, which open. Also opening is the #1 new feature, and that is the 5th door. It's yet another car with a hatchback. Your enlargeable luggage area, very sensibly on this model, has a removable plastic parcel shelf, like so, which is a jolly good idea to keep the luggage away from the prying eyes of the dishonest around. There it is. If you want to make the area even larger, in fact, you can turn it into an estate car. You can move the rear seat forward in 2 stages, like that. And rather good too, and that is the rather low tailgate opening here. Nice low lip, so access is nice and easy. Another good feature, and that is with such a large flat glass area at the back, visibility is improved in all weathers thanks to a rear screen wiper and a washer too. Because another reason why you get so much uninterrupted luggage area in the back, and that's because they keep the spare wheel at the front here over the engine, which is the other major 104 piece of news. You now have the option of a larger 1124cc engine. Still overhead camshaft, still 4 cylinders, but now the very useful addition, if you want it, of 12 noticeable extra brake horsepower. So, in essence, you get the choice of more power for the 104 and, of course, the useful opening 5th door. However, it's also a replacement for the faithful 204, which has finally disappeared from the Peugeot catalogue after over a decade and 1.5 million sold too. One wonders, though, whether this, the larger engine but smaller-bodied 104, will ever become France's most popular car, something that the old 204 managed to do in its time for 3 years running. Certainly, when it comes to a twisty road, the 104 is in its element. It doesn't keel over or roll about as much as the 204 did, which should please back-seat passengers. Even on long hauls, it seems to be long-legged enough not to wear you out, and unlike some baby cars, the interior noise level is never obtrusive, even when pressing on. Crosswinds, they don't seem to worry it either. In fact, it's a very precise little car indeed. There's nothing vague about it, and apart from the obvious eagerness of the SL's larger engine option, the most useful feature is the torque. Again, unlike some cars of this size, you're not forever having to change down. Even in a hurry, you should still get over 35 to the gallon, and that's mighty important to the French, who are paying about £1.20 a throw now. They even have to pay to use their motorways, of course, and we think motoring's expensive enough, but imagine having to fork out 25p or so every time you use a bit of Spaghetti Junction or drive down Westway. In fact, the latest specification for the 104 now qualifies it for what is surely the most hectic market sector of all, not only in France, but throughout the EEC. However, particularly with the larger motor, it's now competitive versus such front-wheel drive competition as Renault's excellent GTL R5, VW's smaller engine Golf and the larger engine Polo, and the Ford Fiesta, of course, as well as rear-wheel drive alternatives as Vauxhall's Chevette. Like nearly every French car, one hardly notices the driving position. Everything falls absolutely ideally to hand. And being French, it seems to be able to absorb long hauls without any problems, also withstand enthusiastic driving and lazy driving alike. As far as the rear doors are concerned, you get plenty of rear accommodation here for passengers, and even tall ones too, which is fairly commendable in a baby car. And easy rear seat access, as well as the hatchback, is going to mean that it will be able to challenge its arch rival, the Renault 5, more effectively. Bear in mind, up to now in France, the Renault 5 has been outselling the 104 2-to-1. And as long as the franc doesn't surge even further ahead of the pound, I reckon the new 104 is going to do pretty well on the British market as well. It's going to mean a start of Peugeot ownership, perhaps, for more motorists. And I wouldn't mind betting that many of them land up in a home where there's already a larger engine Peugeot in the garage.